This is the Rare Report. I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you Ian Boze, who was recognized in 2025 as the Putnam County Teacher of the Year.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another teacher to a teacher. So welcome. And what I'd like to hear and for you to share is aspects of how you got into education. I know that you came through Indiana because you went to Purdue.
Yes, sir.
I come out of Indiana, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I'm always interested in terms of how did you get where you're at now?
Yeah, so I came at it. I'm a second career teacher, so this isn't my first career. My mom was a teacher growing up 35 years, just finally retired a couple years ago.
Indiana?
In Ohio, actually,
Ohio.
where I grew up.
Okay.
But I swore up and down going up, I'm never going to be a teacher because I watched how hard it was. I watched her grading and her lesson planning and all of this stuff even throughout the summer. So I was like, that's not what I want. But so bachelor's degree in engineering, got a job working for UF in the theater department, not in the theater department, but for the Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, the theater here in Gainesville, doing what my degree was in, but got to the point where what I needed personally and family didn't align with that work schedule. So I needed to shift careers. And, fortunately, UF has the ability for its staff to take classes subsidized. Yes. So kind of started looking at, okay, what is subsidized? What classes can I get paid for? And education was one of them. And I was like, well, I always enjoyed math. It was something I was good at. I was training people and teaching people at my job at the theater. So I was like, well, let's give it a shot. My wife's a teacher. So I knew what teaching was. I knew what I was getting into. Yeah. And honestly, I never have been happier and never looking back. This is currently year 7 of teaching, and I have loved every minute of it.
What particularly do you like or love about being a teacher?
Honestly, it's the interactions and the relationship I have with my students. Because I teach the upper level math, the pre-calculus, the calculus, and not every student gets it. I try, and not every student gets it, but every student comes away with a better understanding of math and a better understanding that, and one of the things that I try to really teach for my students is that math isn't about the math. Right, the specific math.
Tell me what it's about. I'd like to know.
What I like to tell the students is it's not about solving the quadratic formula. That's not the thing that's changing anybody's life. That's not the thing that's changing the world. What we're learning, what I'm teaching them is how to problem solve, how to approach a new thing and apply whatever it is they know to that situation. And so I love having those moments with students where they finally get it. Or I've seen it a lot of times, and it's one of my highlights, where a student who hasn't been historically good at math or hasn't had the perception that they're good at math finally realizes, I can be smart. I can be good at math. I am good at math. And, have that kind of awakening in themselves of what they can do. And for me, that's really one of the things that I like. Along with, I teach juniors and seniors, so there is a lot of that shaping young minds and helping them navigate what that next step is. Coming from university, that's a big leap to go from a senior in high school to a college freshman. And there's so many questions that they have. And I just love helping them navigate and helping them realize that you just got to figure it out. There's no right answer anymore.
Yeah, that's astounding for some individuals, right there.
Yeah.
And when they find that out, in terms of help them develop their self-confidence,
yes,
that they can still step into whatever it is,
yeah,
and can succeed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting that you talk about that math perspective, because I remember I could do the algebra and geometry, and there was trig, and I didn't have a teacher like you, you know?
So yeah, and it's something that I've really tried to grow with my team here as a group of educators helping students through math, is really moving past the rote standards of math of, okay, this year you're learning this formula, next year you're learning this formula, and really focusing in on that questioning piece of asking questions, asking the right questions, how to find the answers. And we're really seeing some results with that. It's taken a long time. It's taken a lot of work. But as with most things, anything worth doing isn't easy. So it's been a long journey, but we're really starting to see success. And I'm really excited to see the next couple years as these students leave us and go on to the next level. Because for me, that's success, right? Like I can give them tests, I can give them quizzes, I can give them grades, they can get a good grade, they can leave me. But for me, it's what happens next. Like when you get to college, are you dropping out of your college math classes? Are you completely changing your major because you can't do math? Or do you have that confidence? Do they have that ability to be like, all right, I can make it through, as they're sitting in their lecture hall with their friends who are, drowning because they don't know how to deal with the hard stuff.
So do you have a different curriculum, or have you developed your system to help students problem solve? I mean, it's more. You said it's more than just being able to solve a problem.
Yeah.
A
So
math problem.
yeah. So I have adapted. It's a book that was written by a guy named Peter Liljedahl. He's a professor from some school in Canada that I can't remember. But he wrote a book, and it's all about letting the kids struggle and that productive struggle and making them do the work. So one of the things that I do, and I don't know if it'll come across in the video, but in my classroom I have whiteboards everywhere that I could possibly squeeze a whiteboard, and the students are standing doing the math there in a group working together, and I don't give them very many direct instructions. It's usually, okay, here's the formula that we're working with today, now go practice the problems. And then I'm able to go around. I'm not helping individual students, so I don't have a class of 25 I'm dealing with. Now I have 8 groups of 3 that I'm working with, and I can go and help them individually. And it's
interesting.
Yeah, and this year was the first year I really heard it from the students, because this is my 3rd year doing this type of practice, and I have a student who it's their 3rd year with me in through the math progression. And they were actually dragging their classmates in, like, no, you can't go work by yourself. You've got to stay here. You've got to work with us in the group. And really watching that happen was kind of like that, that proud parent moment where it's like, it works. So that's what I do. It doesn't work for everybody. It can't work for everybody because, it can work for everybody. But there's a level of chaos that not all teachers are comfortable with.
No, but I like your direction, the direction that you're helping students with. It reminds me that, when I was a teacher at UF, I taught anatomy. We did a lot of, at the end, I found that peer teaching.
Right.
That's what you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
And it helps. I don't know, there's some kind of inner confidence when you're working with someone
Right.
at their level, right?
Yep.
But yet it's trying to help develop that self-efficacy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
Because it's so easy, and as you're talking about a student coming from high school going into the first semester of undergrad, it could just take the legs out from under.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I constantly tell my students, and they kind of laugh, but honestly, when I have a parent-teacher conference or something and say the same thing to the parents, they really get it. Is I'm like, I want you to struggle here where I can help you, so that when you go to university, you know what you need to do. You know that you need to go to office hours. You know you need to get that extra tutor. You know you need to sit next to the smart kid in the front row. Like that's what I want to help my students know, is like know where their limits are and know what they need to get to that next step. And so, because I have it took me several years to get my students, my administration, our guidance counselors on board with like, the kids are going to struggle. They're not going to have great grades up front. Just trust me, it will be okay. Trust the process. And it's really paid off.
Well, it sounds like because of the recognition you're getting from the administration to be recognized as a teacher of the year, but not just for that to celebrate, but for the investment and efforts you put in over these years to get to where you're at now, right? And your children, and for your classmates, for your students to get to where they're at.
Yeah, I think so too. I do a lot of other things for the school. I do a lot outside of my classroom. But I always try to keep in mind when I'm trying to allocate my personal energies is like, I'm a teacher first. What I do in the classroom has to come first. Everything else, even though I enjoy it, I have a lot of fun doing all the other stuff. I have to make sure I know what I'm teaching the next day. I have to make sure my grades are done first.
And are you head of the math unit here?
Yes. So
how many colleagues do you have that's in the math?
So we are, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're 5 this year. Basically 1 for each grade level, roughly speaking. The juniors and seniors split a little bit. We have a couple different options depending on the support the student needs, because not everybody is ready. Not everybody needs calculus. So we have some differentiation for the students to get that. Because I always want to push students, but I never want to push them past where they're ready. Because I firmly believe everybody is capable, but not everybody is ready yet. So, try to meet them where they are. And we did a lot of work. I did a lot of fighting early on. I know it's common across districts in Florida, especially with school grades, to do 7th grade Algebra 1 for everybody. And it wasn't working for us. And it took me several years of data and campaigning and lobbying and talking to the district and talking to my principals, being like, look, this isn't working. Can we do something different? And we were able to do that. And next year will be the first group of students I will get under that delayed progression, and they've done really well coming up through it. So I'm really hopeful. There's so much brain development that happens from 12 to 15 that when we're asking them to do the abstract thought of algebra, when sometimes they're like physically not ready for that level of thought yet. Like they could want to all they want, but their brain isn't there yet.
Wired.
Yeah. So
does all students have to take so many credits of math in a junior, senior high school here?
Yeah, so in Florida, the graduation requirement is 4 math credits,
Okay.
4 high school credits. A lot of students start that in 8th grade. Usually Algebra 1 is 8th grade for our students and for most students across Florida, again, to deal with school grades and that kind of thing. Our students here at QI graduate differently because we graduate under the ACE diploma. So we don't have those strict math requirements, but I try to, and we've set it up so that students take a math every year. Because again, as they're applying to university, a gap in math, especially if they're trying to get into UF or they're trying to get into one of the big top state universities in Florida, they're not as competitive. And we've seen that over the years. So that's, kind of our guidance for students. It's like, hey, if this is your goal, if this is where you want to go, this is what it's going to take to get there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And QI Roberts, then it's in the county, it's rated, graded.
Yeah, so QI Roberts, we are technically the academic magnet of Putnam County. So
Cambridge school.
So no one's zoned for our school. It is an application process. But in terms of what we're looking for, one of the things our current principal, Joe Theobald, one of the things he's really done is expanded that traditional definition of a kid that could exceed at an academic school. He's really broadened that, and we've really seen some students who, given the opportunity, have really stepped up. And that's kind of our ethos. The last 5 years that he's been here is like, we're not the school for the smartest kid. We will serve them, but we're really the school for the student who wants to try. And as long as they do that, then they generally find success where we're at. We are.
I like that attitude.
Yeah, we're in terms of the state, in terms of all of the metrics, we're going on 8 years as an A school. We just got a School of Distinction by the state for the 6th year in a row, which means you meet certain criteria for the school grade and have earned a certain amount of points. Just on the numbers, all of our ELA classes, our civics and our 7th grade accelerated math are all in the top 10% in the state in terms of their achievement scores. So the numbers are good, but what I like to do, the story I like to tell is, again, back to that what happens next. And we have students that are going straight to university. They're going to the FSUs, they're going to the UFs, and are succeeding and are thriving. But we also have the students that are on the 2-2 transfer route, that are going to St. John's or going to Santa Fe, transferring to UF, transferring to the schools and still finding success. And that's, for me personally, that's success. Is changing the outcome for our students. College is expensive no matter how you slice it. Even with the bright futures, it's expensive because living is expensive. Paying for a place to live and to eat and all of that's expensive. But we're giving our students an opportunity to have their college free. And all they have to do is put in the effort to get their ACE diploma. And it's not guaranteed. It still takes a lot of work. It's not easy. But we get 70% of our senior class. So about between 50 and 60 students every year that earn the Bright Futures, that earn a full tuition scholarship to any state school in Florida. And that's an opportunity they wouldn't otherwise get.
Yeah, yes. Really impacting their futures. If it helped them guide to be successful.
Right.
In the present.
Yes.
The future looks brighter.
Yes.
Can you think of some aha moments that, as a teacher, that, over time, that, I don't know, just warmed your heart, or
with students, or
both?
Both. I think my biggest ahas that I love having with teachers is getting them to realize that if they set the idea of the test and the score aside and just focus on being the best teacher that they can for the students that are in their classroom at the moment, everything else takes care of itself. And to see and to have that conversation with teachers and to get them to let that stress go of it's okay if I don't focus on this test. If they learn the material, they'll do fine on the state test. Because unfortunately, so much of how K-12 teachers are evaluated, are looked at, are valued is in those state test scores. So getting the teachers past that of that will take care of itself if you are the best teacher you can be in the classroom. I think for students, the aha is not necessarily when they get one thing, but when they finally connect several of the dots together. When I can see, when I'm teaching a new unit and they're and I can watch that connects to the previous, they connect all the dots and they're oh, all of this now kind of makes a little bit more sense. It's never perfect, but when they finally realize, oh, okay, for me, that's kind of fun, is to watch them realize oh, everything is connected. I just have to learn enough finally, or get far enough in the curriculum to to see where it all connects back to itself.
You know, at UF I taught anatomy.
Yeah.
So anatomy is generally in units, but then you, as you're talking about, after you get through several units and closer to the end, it sort of all makes sense. You know?
Everything kind of comes
you
together.
You can see
yeah.
the systems. You can see how one part is integrated with everything else.
Yeah.
Till you get the whole.
Yeah, and that's, we were talking about how I teach a little differently, and that's one of the nice things about the way I teach is that if I've got a group of kids that are ready for it, I can give them that preview. You know, I can talk with those 3 or 4 kids and be like, all right, this is what it is, but this is why, and give them that, 3-minute mini lesson on where we're going to be in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, okay. And I've helped them. They've got a little bit more. They're not being held back because they're waiting for me to get to the next unit. But I'm also not throwing a kid who's still barely grasping what we're doing today into 2 weeks from now. So, yeah, I love those.
I can tell. I could, the energy that you have, you can feel it. I'm sure those
Well,
your students
I appreciate
feel it.
that.
And that, I mean, how you word your thoughts, that those students will appreciate that you're investing in them, right? You're
Yeah.
You're investing in them today so that they can be successful in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being who you are.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for, I'm glad that you were recognized and can celebrate. But it sounds like you see the goals ahead, and to continue to make an impact on your students.
Yeah, I try. It's one of the things that, honestly, it's one of the things that have some of my administrators pushing me to be an administrator, because I can see the forest through the trees. I can see the bigger picture and kind of how everything fits together. And that's, ultimately that's what I try to help my students see too, is calculus might be the class that just sucks this year, but next year it'll be easier. The next math class you take is going to be that much easier than it was this year. And as long as we're moving forward and you're better today than you were yesterday, then it's a win.
And I'm sure the parents and even for me to know that you're over here at QI Roberts making the difference on a daily basis as a citizen of Putnam County. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
I think the thing that for me, with my background, I have an engineering degree, I have a master's in math education, I just finished my master's in educational leadership, graduated from UF in August. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Something that I want people to always keep in mind is that to be a teacher is a profession. It's no different than a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. And while there is, 1 in a million that isn't doing everything they can to support their students, that's what we do every day. We are professionals who are here to support our students and to do the best we can, given what we've been given, to make better students and ultimately better humans, because that's all we can do.
Yes, yes. But you step up and are willing to invest your energy to make that happen. That's that's so important. I wanted you to open that up.
Okay.
I want to pull that. So this is for you,
Oh,
because to me, individuals like you are coaches. You help them in the practice off to the side to get ready for game time. Mm-hmm. But you want them to be prepared so that when it's time to be on the field, they can perform to the best of their abilities.
yeah.
To me, what I always did, I was a coach.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to have a coaching lanyard.
Well, thank you.
And on there, it doesn't say Purdue, it doesn't say Indiana. It has the words stroke, stroke, kick, kick. It goes from the philosophy of you just put the effort in.
Yep.
To get to where you want to be, you have to have persistence. was this poem out about two frogs. Two frogs fell into a can of cream. One frog realized no one's going to help him and drowned. The second frog was made of sterner stuff, and dog paddled, and said that it makes no. I'm not going to drown, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to paddle. I'm going to stroke, kick for a while, and that's what we do, right? I mean, we have to help students invest in. Only thing they have to do is is just simply stroke, and keep going forward. So
Absolutely.
this is your.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.